Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Abilene Chamber of Commerce podcast. This one, we're going to take a look at ARGA. And no, we're not going to get on a ship with a pirate. This is really going to be good, I'm here to tell you. It's the Abilene Growth Alliance, and it's very, very cool. We got Mr. Doug Peters here. He's our head chief, and we got somebody really handsome this week too. You're gonna love this deal right here, Sean Martin with ARGA. So tell us about ARGA on the big plane, and then we'll get some specifics.
Absolutely. So last time we talked, Kelly, we were talking about how broad and how deep this chamber organization is.
Sure.
And well over 60 years ago, there were a group of business people who came together and created what was called the Abilene Industrial Foundation. And that Abilene Industrial Foundation, back in its heyday, was responsible for industrial recruitment, business retention and expansion, and many of the things that the Development Corporation of Abilene does today. So if you remember, it was this organization who went to Austin and got legislation passed back in the late 80s to create the 4A sales tax. And that has not only benefited Abilene immeasurably, but it has also benefited the entire state of Texas. So as organizations and communities evolve, the Development Corporation of Abilene was born from the creation of that 4A sales tax 30 years ago.
Right.
And we have since reorganized, sort of realigned the work that we do to really try to help create a better community or a better product that the Development Corporation and others who are seeking outside investment, they can be more successful because we have the elements of a successful community. Not that we do that all ourselves. It's a big team effort of many different contributors in the community. But at the end of the day, these folks all come together. Development Corporation is out trying to attract capital investment with grants and businesses coming here and retaining those companies that, in many cases, the old AIF, now the Abilene Regional Growth Alliance, attracted back in the day. And we're out trying to help improve the quality of life of the community, whether it's healthcare, which we have a great health system here, whether it is childcare, workforce, downtown. We're working on those things. We're working on small business formation and development. So all those little things that most people think just happens because the Abilene Regional Growth Alliance, which is chaired by Sean Martin from Atmos Energy, focuses on every single day.
Yeah. So getting that focus there, how's that group put together? And tell us kind of like your vision.
So we have a great public-private partnership, which is what the Abilene Regional Growth Association is. We bring folks who care about Abilene into this organization and want to invest in things like downtown, things in the region, business, retail, those types of things that make Abilene a better place to live, work, and play.
Good.
And so we've kind of rebranded some of our from Industrial Foundation to the Regional Growth Alliance because we want to make sure that, we remain the hub of the spoke of the wheel, and that's what Abilene's always been with our local partners and our smaller communities around us, but more so focusing on the things that make Abilene great and a place to live, a place to come to school, a place to work, improve our education, improve our lives, just the overall livability of that. And so we have some great folks that are a part of everything that we do here, and they have been for many years, and they continue to be. And we're starting, continuing to grow that and honor those folks who came before us so that we can make Abilene better for our future.
Kelly, an interesting bit of information. Sean and I were having a conversation some time ago, and he said, we've realigned what we do. And we have a plan.
It's wonderful.
Lead ABI plan. Mm-hmm. And this is when we were still the Abilene Industrial Foundation. He said, we're not industrial, and we're not a foundation. Do we need to realign the name of what we do to match the work that we're now doing?
Sure.
This evolution. And the answer was, yeah. So the executive committee that Sean leads came together and said, let's look at a bunch of different names. And they came up with the Abilene Regional Growth Alliance that, in my opinion, really does.
Says exactly what you're doing.
It says we're doing. So we're working on growth, helping to enable growth in the community. And we're an alliance of the private sector partnering with the public sector to make all these great things happen.
Well, that puts it pretty simple. Now, I know a bunch of people watching right now are going, well, I want to become involved. How do I do that? What do they do?
Yeah, well, they just reach out to any of us. The more the merrier with the Abilene Regional Growth Alliance. So a little bit more background. A couple of years ago now, Sean, under his leadership, along with Gary Grubbs, who many people in the community know, said, we need to find a sustainable way to fund this long term, because there's no reason to have these fits and starts. And the way it used to be funded was the Development Corporation contributed a sum of money that we've always been accountable for, and the private sector. And much of the private sector funding was designated really to our advocacy efforts in Austin. And we said, what we need to do when we realign this, we really need to have a strategy. So we went out into the community, talked to 70 plus different business and industry leaders, and said, we need to reinvent what we're doing to match today's community needs. And what was interesting is they came up with this really robust plan. And at the end of that planning process, when this LEAD ABI plan was developed, they said, what, not only do we think that that's the right plan, but we think we can fund that. So nearly $3 million over a 5-year period was committed by the private sector to stand behind the work and to really leverage the public resources that we've relied on for so many years. So this LEAD ABI plan that we're involved in really just finished an incredibly successful year. We're not doing all the work ourselves. There are great resources out there and partners like the Small Business Development Center, our universities, and so many others that all come together and say, we want to help push that plan forward, and have done so remarkably. The neat part about this plan is that it's integrated into the Abilene Chamber of Commerce strategy that the board of the chamber adopted just a couple of years ago. So for the first time in the history of this organization, everything is integrated. Everything matches up, lines up, and we're able to go out and pursue these things without duplicating service, without duplicating effort, without duplicating resources, and really have found a great efficiency in the way that we're able to do that. Thanks to people like Sean, who is at the helm.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, the good thing about LEAD ABI and the efforts there and that strategic plan that we put in place, and the investors who bought into what we're doing, you have to measure it to manage it.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And so we didn't just want it to be a dollar figure or an amount. We want to show results from that. And that's what the chamber, those who work for the Growth Alliance here in the building, the staff here, we present results on the investment that's been made.
Yeah, because tell us about the meetings, because the last meeting you did present, here's where we are today, and it's amazing the growth that's happening.
Yeah, so we provide quarterly initiative updates. Again, a smaller group of community leaders came together and said, here's some initiatives that we'd like that we hear, that we're seeing, that we think ought to be focused on, and we came up with some initiatives, and we perform on those initiatives in this building and with the staff and the things that are going on here. And it's exciting to see, because the work that's being done, you can see it when you drive up and down, downtown or in the outskirts of town.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the results that are being done, and it's exciting time.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's the main thing, is we give something back to those who've put trust in us to continue the legacy that they've left.
Well, let me, if you don't mind, I'm sorry I'm dominating.
Jump in. I like it.
Well, one of the things that I think is interesting to note is that some people say, well, why would a big bank, or why would a local manufacturer or a service company like a software developer, why would they want to invest in a plan like LEAD ABI? And the answer to that is because they win when Abilene wins. And this is just one more way that the community has come together, the private sector has come together to support the work of the City of Abilene, the Development Corporation of Abilene. We're not leading any of those efforts. We're just trying to help where we can in a way that makes sense so we're not stepping on each other. And it was not easy to come up with that realignment. We made sure that we listened as much as we spoke and came away with this effort that helps companies attract workforce, because creating a better product, a better Abilene, makes people want to live here.
Oh, sure.
It helps to increase our population.
Mm-hmm.
The downtown is often a very important first impression for anybody that visits a community. They'll drive into a downtown, and if it's vibrant, they'll say, I could be a part of this. If it's not, they'll say, this is a community that may not know how to take as good a care of itself as it could, and they may go to another community. So we want to make sure that this community is firing on all cylinders all the time to help complement the great schools that we have, the pro-business government environment that we have, a very aggressive economic development office here in the DCOA, and so many others that have this piece of this pie that the community ultimately gets to eat.
Yeah, it was cool. One of the reports I remember from the last meeting, which is really cool, was when Helen was talking about that grant money and how they took that program and that was amazing what all they did.
Yeah.
So if you could speak on that.
Sure, be happy to. So that was called the West Texas Business Navigator Program. And I remember Mayor Anthony Williams calling and saying, hey, there's this grant thing out there that you guys might want to look at. And I remember going to Sean and saying, do you want to apply for this federal grant? And, every time we have that kind of an opportunity, we're thinking, number one, can we fulfill it? And not only fulfill it, can we knock it out of the park? So we brought a whole bunch of people together, our universities, Small Business Development Center, a number of partners in the community, and said, look, there's an opportunity for us to compete in a federal program for federal funding that would allow us to focus on historically underutilized businesses, not just in Abilene, but in the region. And this is a regional approach for us because we believe what's good for our neighbors is good for Abilene.
Good for the whole big country. So
good for the whole big country. And through that process, we developed this hub and spoke model that the Growth Alliance and the Chamber served as the hub. And then we had partners in the Council of Government, Cisco College, and others who said, we can do our part to help do this. And we made an impact. That program, through this partnership, this West Texas Business Navigator program, really made a mark. And what was neat is we just finished or wrapped up that 2-year grant. It was $815,000, and that partnership survived that. Nobody was in it just for the money. Everybody was in it for results, and continues to work together even today.
And Doug, how many of those was Abilene out of how many in the state?
Well, there were a number of applications. Abilene and Dallas were the only two communities in the state of Texas to be recipients of that grant. Yeah, glad you brought that up. And that just separates us from the pack. It shows the rest of the world Abilene, Texas is incredibly serious about the work it does on behalf of the business community. And I think that's evidenced in the results of that program.
Yeah, it was super. So everybody needs to look at those results, I think. And it's great. Now, if somebody wants to donate and be a part, again, tell me one more time.
We don't ask anybody to donate. We ask them to consider investing.
Okay. I knew that was coming. I probably did that.
All they need to do is reach out to me. Doug at AbileneChamber.com, and we will walk them through what we're doing, why we're doing it, how it matters, and how it can impact their business. And this is not the Abilene Chamber. It's a division of the Chamber. So the Chamber work continues on. And the Chamber, I think, as most people know, at its core, is an advocacy association for business. This is a community development division that allows us to continue to improve that product so that businesses and their associates can thrive in Abilene, Texas, and the region.
Well, it's incredible how big that board is and how many people come to that meeting that do see the benefit and go, hey, I need to invest and make sure that this happens, right?
Well, it's incredible, but it's also believable
Yeah.
because those who are part of that board know what's going on in Abilene and believe in what's going on in Abilene and see the future and, recognize the past and respect and honor that, but at the same time, look to the future. That's why there's so many people that are, that say, hey, I want to be a part of what's going on because it's all good.
Yeah, and the moral to the whole story is leverage. We're supported by a lot of different organizations, public and private. And when you can take $1 of public money and match it with $3 or $4 of private money, the stories of success that Sean's been a part of in the Growth Alliance and the AIF, the downtown hotel, the downtown plan that was developed called the Center City Vision that was launched back in 2017. It's that private money that made those things happen. And if I dare to say that, and we wouldn't have a hotel if not for the city of Abilene and the incredible leadership of our city council. But back in the day when nobody got the vision of what was needed and wanted and substantiated for the downtown, it was the Abilene Industrial Foundation, now the Growth Alliance, who said, let's add some sizzle to what we're trying to sell, and let's create this district that the community today knows as the Festival District.
Oh, sure.
And let's let that be an anchor that drives investment all throughout the downtown and beyond. Robert Hanna, our city manager, and I agreed early on that if we can get this hotel project done, that can be a catalytic project that impacts every single taxpayer in this community if done right. And I got to tell you, 6 years of planning and the most sophisticated funding model I've ever seen with very little risk to taxpayers it is a model. We get calls all the time from folks saying, how did you guys do that?
Well, don't tell them.
Oh, no. We send everybody to Robert Hanna. He's the brains behind the operation. But we're lucky to be in a community where everybody wants to be successful. And we play a very small role in this huge effort to try to help make that happen.
And currently, if you drive downtown, it's going to grow more because you can see things already happening, right? So we're not done.
Wait for Streetscape.
Yeah. So we're not done with that.
We'll probably do an episode just on Streetscape. And we'll have Will Duggar come in and talk about that from Jacob and Mark.
Okay.
Transformation. It
is.
It absolutely is.
Well, thank you guys for doing an awesome job.
We're not
personal time.
We've got a lot more to talk.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. We always have more, but hey, tune in and we'll catch us next time. Thanks.
Thank you.